we're live. Welcome yet again to the 2021 PCS Impact Q&A, new and improved. Actually, we don't need to be improved, but that's how we roll because it's 2021, people. Yes. Happy New Year. Hope you had some great holidays. We are ready to go in the new year. Yes, I keep saying new year because I want to put 2020 in the rear view and see it like decades back. I can't wait. As long as I don't get wrinkles. So we got a great show for you today. It's just me and Megan. We're going to be going over the new year and some PCS program changes that you might want to watch out for when you PCS with your military family. But of course, we have our lovely Megan Harless, our resident PCS reform advocate. And oh, by the way, resident BA, censored for little ears in your room because we love you. And of course, I'm MJ Boyce. I am hosting today with my lovely co-host, who's on this side, not that side. And I am the Director of Community Outreach at PCS Grades. Boom! See, I just need a lesson in the...
Right.
All right. Before we get to those DoD updates, I'm going to go ahead and throw out those housekeeping items like I do every week. Here we go. Okay. So, first and foremost, we bring the experts to you. From Transcom to education experts to moving industry professionals, we bring them to you to answer your questions, to have the source in front of you because you deserve those answers. Speaking of which, speaking of those answers, you're going to sometimes have questions, which, by the way, leave them in the comments below. Comments and concerns that we are here to help you with. We are here. We've got the answers. We don't know the answers. Guess what? We know who does. And if we don't know either of those things, we will take your questions for action and get back to you with an answer. But in the event that your specific situation requires some specific solution, there are two forever and always resources that you can go to. Number one, your local chain of command. Number two, your local transportation office. Those are the people who know you. Those are the people who are dealing with your stuff. And those are the people who can help further your issue for action. Okay, last but not least, it may be 2021, people, but we still have to do our part. We have got to do our part. We have got to flatten this curve. Please, people, do your part. Wear a mask, social distance, whatever it takes, because we have to flatten that curve. And when we flatten that curve, we're going to flatten Murphy with it. That's right, Murphy. We are coming for you. And with that, I'm going to throw it over to Megan for them DoD updates. Megan?
Hey, everybody. So we got a couple of things that we're not going to talk about today that I'm going to tell you right now about. The first one is, if you haven't already seen the notice yet that we posted in our PCS group, PPMs are now going to be reimbursed at 100% of the government's constructive cost for their best value score. If you know, previously we had this policy put in place to kind of help during the COVID pandemic piece that expired at the end of December. The services came together, realized it was a good policy to have in place. They voted on it, were able to extend it. So now it is a permanent fixture in the PCS program. You will find the update to it listed in the JTR. I believe it's on page 273 to 274 of Chapter 5 there. So if you need it, go check it out. But your PPMs it's at 100% of the government's constructive cost. Also recently came out yesterday as an update, the mileage rate for your POVs for when you're driving from one duty station to the next on your PCS has changed. In 2020, it was 17 cents per mile. Unfortunately, for 2021, it's only 16 cents per mile. Don't know why or how it gets calculated. I'm assuming because some gas prices in a lot of areas have gone down because of the pandemic, that kind of correlates and deals with that. So your mileage rate is at 16 cents per mile. So that's all I've got for now. We're going to talk about a lot more things coming up, so I'll send it back to MJ.
Who's muted my mic? Can you hear me? Okay, you can hear me now.
Yes.
Okay, word. Sorry. Okay, really quick. Totally forgot to say this. Remember when I said leave your questions, comments, concerns below? And we'll get back to you with an answer. Guess what? You're going to get more than that. You are going to be entered to win some Hope Design Limited bling. Yes, we're giving away one of her very special Milspouse Love Collection editions, and we're going to do that at the end. So for every single time you comment, question, concern, whatever, you're going to be entered to win. twice, 3 times, share it. There you go. So get it out there, get her done, engage with us, because that's how we roll. LOL smiley faces are welcomed, but don't count towards an entry. All right. So new year, new changes. Obviously, there's a lot going on already with the PCS process, but every year, Megan has informed me that there are changes that kind of, that are filtered in, but, she's kind of got the scuttlebutt on this. So we're going to dive right into those questions. Are you ready, Megan?
Yes.
Okay. Let's do it. Here we go. All right. Let's start from the beginning. Okay. On one of the most common issues, which I'm sure everyone will agree with, communication. Mm-hmm. What is changing this year?
So the thing that's changing this year in regards to communication is that your transportation service providers, your TSPs, are going to have to hold their phone line, their hold times on the phone down to 20 minutes for waiting time. And that's going to be between 8 in the morning and 5 in the evening. Additional to that, which I'm really excited about, is that there is now going to be customer service support on the weekends, is that they have to provide somebody to be in office to help answer the phones, to be there on Saturdays when moves are going on. So there's no longer this, it's after hours, I have nobody to contact. You will have somebody on those Saturdays to call and to reach out to someone.
Okay, so not Sundays though?
Not Sundays right now. So most people, when we look at the moving schedule, most people will have Saturday packs, pickups, drop-offs on Saturdays. There isn't a lot that is happening on Sundays. Most people tend to stay away from Sundays. We do know there are some Sunday pickups or deliveries that do happen. Unfortunately, right now, Sundays are not covered, but it is still going to be on Saturdays. So that's, something better than what we've gotten previously in the past.
Makes sense. Okay. So I like to, say that no doesn't mean no. It just means not right now. So not Sundays yet. But yes, no, you make a good point. Not a lot of people try and schedule it that way. Mm-hmm. All right. Next question. There is always, without fail, bound to be a door or a piece of floor that's scratched or dented. How is this going to be prevented now?
Yeah, so a lot of times we find out with our moves is that, carrying heavy furniture in and out of the home, we scratch a door frame. There might be a little scuff on a hallway wall as you try to carry a bed out of some sort. So now what they're going to be expected to provide is some what they call real home protections. So you're going to see floor coverings get put down in your high traffic area. So generally it's like those blue nylon coverings. They should line your hallway, your stairs, your entryway with them. They should be putting some of those moving furniture pads around your front door or any door that they're carrying things in and out of to kind of help protect those areas to allow those little instances with damages to your home to not happen so much.
Word. Okay, so I'm going to pause real quick here. And because I completely forgot. See, I'm on backwards time here. I think I'm still on holiday. Don't hold it against me. It's me. I'm right. MilFams Give Back was a campaign the PCS grades did. And we, for every review, housing review, on and off base, we would donate $5 to the nonprofit of the reviewer's choice. And it just ended on December 31st. And I am so happy to say that we are honored to be giving away to 24 nonprofits just over $1,000 to help continue their missions of serving us and our families. How awesome is that? And I'm not just talking about, just spouse, we got spouse clubs. We've got the Bautista Project, shout out. The Unquiet Professional, shout out. We've got, Dogs on Deployment. We've got, Hire Our Heroes USA. We've got so many that we're giving this money to, and we are so excited. And so I just wanted to let everybody know that we did do that, and it's going to happen again. So stand by. Yeah. All right, now we are all on track. I actually finished all of my sentences. Okay. Now, all right. And I'm getting this. Okay, Melanie, shout out. Here getting the latest, greatest updates for our upcoming move. Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness. Okay, so you definitely came to the right place, my dear. Krista, shout out Krista. So grateful for that, the Unquiet Professional. Krista is actually, I believe, one of the founders, am I correct, of the Unquiet Professional, and a near and dear friend to us and PCS Greats. All right. Who is ready for the next question? Because here I go. I'm just going to keep talking.
Just do it.
All right. What's the deal with crates and seals? Like, I've been hearing some stuff about this, and I'm not really tracking. Can you kind of tell us about that a little bit? Crates and seals.
Yes. So really quick, because I forgot in the beginning, all of these new changes that we are discussing will take effect May 15th. So unfortunately, if you're moving in March, the changes we're talking about today aren't going to really impact you. Some companies might start putting them in place to get into the habit of using them, but they all go into effect May 15th of this year. So if you're moving anytime after that, these will all apply to you. If you're moving before that, unfortunately, they will not, unless your company just offers it as an additional service at that time. So the deal with crates and seals is, so right now, seals are not required for crates. I know that's such a big issue with families, but a lot of times those seals, they can fall off. We know a lot of companies still use the seals and still offer them because they have them and everything, but right now they're currently not required. So in the new tender of service that takes place May 15th, the tamper evident seals, they come back into play, and they will be required on crated shipments, either OCONUS crated shipments or CONUS. So if you're going to have a crated move after May 15th, those seals should be in place on your shipment.
And tell me again, the seals do what again?
So they're tamper evident or tamper proof. So that way, if the seals are not there, you will know your shipment was messed with. The metal seals, they all have like a serial number on them. So you should have those serial numbers written down on your inventory. So for some reason, and when your crates get open at your location, they should be, verifying the serial numbers on the crates with the serial numbers on your inventory. A lot of times those seals, they can fall off. Now, understand, crates can be opened for any number of reasons. If you're going OCONUS, sometimes customs will open them. If there's something fishy that shows up on either the paperwork. So I've learned that if you're going OCONUS to certain places, like stuffed animals should be written on your inventory as plush toys. Because sometimes they think stuffed animal means like taxidermy, and you've got like a stuffed squirrel, whatever, in your shipment. So for those instances, like, they can open your crates to verify like it is, real stuffed plush animals and not like, a stuffed squirrel you killed on a hunt type of deal. So those types of reasons crates can be open. Sometimes if they realize a crate got damaged in part of a shipment, they may open it to recrate it into a new crate. So obviously with that, you would have new seals. Sometimes delivery trucks, sometimes our delivery companies, they're not always crate capable. And so sometimes the crates get opened at the warehouse and your stuff gets crossed into a truck. So there's always some issues with having seals on crates, but at least they're trying to make the effort to, for you to know that your crates are not messed with. And if for any reason your crates are open, they should be notifying you to let you know, like, hey, your crate was opened at customs, because they had to check this reason, or hey, it's getting opened because of this.
Okay, and I guess that makes sense. Just out of curiosity, in the event that it is broken, and regardless of the reason, if the reason is unknown and it comes to you, and whoever's unpacking you, sees that or whatever, what's the recourse? Like, what is the accountability factor? Is there one yet?
So far, no. It's really just to let you know whether your stuff was kind of messed with or not. Of course, now if for some reason your shipment shows up and it's the same crates, but they're all new seals, you can definitely let your move coordinator know, let your local transportation office know, note it on your customer service satisfaction survey at the end of your move that, this was an issue, that your seals didn't match and they weren't the same. Definitely note that on the paperwork when your inventory and all that paperwork you sign on delivery day. Because then if something does come up missing, I mean, you can be able to go back there and say, hey, I noted at delivery, our seals were not the same seals that we had.
Tracking. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, cool. Kelly Jane, I see your question, but stand by because I think we're about to discuss the claims process a little bit right now. And if this one doesn't answer, I'll throw it up there. All right. So, how is the claims process getting better or easier for families? And is like that's really a thing. It is getting better and easier, and how?
Yes, so it's getting a little bit more family friendly. So we still have to use DPS. I know a lot of people have a hang up with DPS. I do as well. It's not always the best system to use. We're still filing claims there. However, the new rules, and I want to read it here so that way I don't mess it up. Customer choice to receive replacement or full replacement cost. Previously, that was the TSP's choice. So what that means is that if you are authorized to get full replacement value, like your desk is completely damaged, there's no way to repair it, it's split in half, legs missing, whatever it may be, and it qualifies for getting full replacement value, you can either choose to either have the company pay you that full replacement cost, so you can go order a new desk because maybe you want to upgrade it a little bit now since it's broken, or you can ask them to purchase the item for you. And sometimes, and I always say that, if you're going to do that, ask them to purchase it for you, because then you don't have to go back and ask for tax and shipping. That's automatically on them, and they can just purchase the item, provide them the link, and they will purchase it, send it to you, and they should be forwarding you an email of proof of purchase for it. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that when we counter offer, sometimes that counter offer sits there for a while, and we, get hung up in why are they not responding to my counter offer? They now have 7 days to respond to your counter offer.
Hold up. So they send me, here's what we'll pay you for all the stuff that was damaged or whatever. Yeah. And if we send a counter offer, they must respond to us one way or the other, at least within 7 days.
Yes. 7 days. So, and that's on counter offer. So keep in mind, you submit your claim, they still have 60 days to, review your claim, to either make offer, to either pay it or deny it. So you make your counter offer, they now have 7 days to review that counter offer and to go from there. It's no longer sitting in limbo for however long it usually takes right now.
And is that 7 calendar or business days?
It just says 7 days. So to me, that says calendar days, because usually when it's government business days, they usually annotate it there in the rules, and it doesn't say that.
Okie doke.
The next piece with the claims, so right now for salvaging items, we know that if they pay FRV, full replacement value, for an item, they can salvage it. And normally you have to keep that item until your claim is settled, and they have 30 days from then to come and salvage it. Now, the rules for salvaging is that they have 45 days from the date of inspection. So generally, when you have a lot of broken stuff, they send out a claims adjuster or an inspector who, one, verifies the items that are damaged, and then two, will kind of determine if something can be repaired or not, or if it's beyond repair and everything. So from that date of inspection, they have 45 days now to determine if they want to salvage anything. And if they don't want to salvage it, you're free and clear to go ahead and get rid of it. So you no longer have to have a storage unit, a garage, or room full of just broken, damaged stuff and everything, which I know has been a huge pain point for families, but you no longer have to hold on to it. So after that 45 days from when they sent an inspector out, if they don't say, hey, we want to salvage that item, you can go ahead and dispose of it. So yeah, those are the 3 big things that are going to be changing in the claims process.
Okay. And Monica here, she mentioned something about 20 days, new repair deadlines of 20 days to hire somebody to do the repairs.
Yeah, so that as well. So when they determine that something can be repaired, the TSP, they should be within 20 days hiring somebody, some repair firm, to come out and either pick up those items or to repair items. So when everything gets published in the tender of service, because they're still fixing some language for clarity in there. So when that all gets together and finalized, we'll be posting that document so that way everybody can go through and read exactly how the language is written and exactly what it is there.
And also, we will follow up with a blog. Our lovely content editor at PCS Grades will transcribe this webinar, and she'll have some of those dates and deadlines in addition to the link that Megan drops into our comment section. Just really quick, let me see. One of the questions that we had, is there anything that's changed in regards to inconvenience claim procedures?
So there's not anything in terms of inconvenience claims that affects the customer written in these new rules. And I'm trying to read through your
So just for the record, everyone, Kelly Jane went and asked a wonderful question, but it's too long and it will cover up all of the things. But basically, any changes in the inconvenience claim procedure, I remember it being a burden to provide receipts and have to purchase items from the inconvenience claim list, like colander, pan, etc. It seems that if a moving company misses the RDD or targeting move date, the company should pay a set amount per day. It would be much easier for the service family and to buy anything needed, even just delivered dinners instead of household list items.
Yeah, so there are currently 2 ways to be paid for inconvenience claim, and this went into effect last May 15th, 2020. And that's there's 2 options. So option 1 is that you can be paid the per diem for the meals and incidental rates for the service member only for up to 7 days without needing to save receipts. This is usually pretty good if you only have like 1 day that you have to wait for your household goods, or if you plan to house camp and you don't really need to purchase anything, you can receive that per diem meals and incidental rate for your service member. As for the second option, it's the same process as before. You can get their approved list of items to purchase, and you can purchase those items, save your receipts, and submit your receipts for reimbursement of the actual cost that you spend. So there's 2 ways to kind of go about it now, but besides that went into effect last year, there is nothing new happening for this year.
Okay. And Mary, shout out Mary, had a question for salvage. Can we dispose of it before the claim is finalized?
Yeah, so you have to keep it for that 45 days from inspection. So like I said, they have 45 days from that inspection for them to determine if they want to salvage anything. And if they do, then you have to keep that item until then for them to come pick up. If they don't tell you within that 45 days that they want to salvage anything, then you can go ahead and dispose of it.
Tracking. Good question, Mary. All right. Let's see. So let me go ahead and move this up. All right. All right, cool. See, the claims questions, we knew that we would have a lot of them. By the way, if we don't get the chance to get to yours now, we will definitely be hitting them up on the back end. They will be addressed one way or the other. Melanie had, okay, so let me see. Oh, we have lots of great questions. People, I am loving this. I'm loving this engagement. Okay. What month or day does this go into effect again?
May 15th, 2021.
Okay. So anybody moving May 15th or after?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And Melanie had a question. I tuned in late. Have you talked about the 7-day schedule window the moving company will now have? When do they finalize the actual date in the process? So yes, we did. Totally cool because we're on the replay. But Megan.
Yeah, so that 7-day schedule, that's one of the new updates that they're calling the spread date window. So during peak season, the TSP will provide a firm date within 7 consecutive calendar days of the customer's requested date. So I have sent Transcom some questions about this to kind of clarify what this exactly means. But the way that I'm reading it now, so say you request, the 1st and 2nd for your packing and your 3rd for your pickup. Now that 3rd, it may not be the 3rd. They would have to pick up by the 7th, but they should be telling you ahead of time exactly what date in there they're able to pick up. So I know that leads to a lot of issues with military families trying to plan, like, when can I leave my house? When can I get out of my house? If I now have to have my stuff boxed up for 2 days and then they're not coming to pick up until the 5th or 6th, how does that work for a military family? And so we've gotten a lot of questions about that. All I can do is tell you how I'm interpreting it as it's in the rules until I hear back clarification from Transcom on it. But right now it's supposed to be 7 calendar days within from your requested pickup date is when they should be picking your stuff up. You're on mute, sister. You're still on mute. Or is it me?
No, somebody unmuted. No, our back end lovely lady tried to unmute me and I muted myself. Yes, again. So just really quick with that whole spread window you referred to, I kind of have a follow-up a little bit with that. Mm-hmm. So can you just go over the changes with the pickup dates? And then there's something about, like, just explain that spread window. Like, what is that again?
So that spread window, so it's supposed to be, it's supposed to help give some more leeway time for when life kind of happens with the moving industry. Sometimes a truck breaks down, sometimes a driver gets sick. Sometimes there's weather that delays, a truck that's supposed to be coming to pick you up. And so instead of a company saying, hey, we need to push this back, and there really being no regulation on how much they can push back and delay that pickup, they are now requiring a 7-day spread window. So as I was saying, it's 7 consecutive days from when your request is. But we've gotten a lot of questions about that, and that's, kind of up for some loose interpretation as to what exactly that means. So I've reached out to Transcom, to ask them, will we know our pickup date beforehand? Will it just be with, sometime within that 7 days? Will they call me sometime after packing to tell me the exact date? And how does that help, military families trying to plan them trying to, clear their house and get out of their house? So for now, as it's written, is that it's 7 consecutive calendar days from your request date is when your pickup date should be. You should be notified ahead of time exactly what that date is. So when I hear back from Transcom for some more clarification on that, we'll bring that back to you guys and hopefully help clear up some of this confusion as to what exactly that new regulation actually means.
Okay. And Krista had a question too. When you do a door-to-door, if the company doesn't deliver on time, who would the family call? Like, is this a moving company issue or can Transcom assist?
So it's both. Transcom can assist. So here's the deal with door-to-door. So if you can plan a door-to-door where your stuff goes directly from one house to another house. Now, the key with door-to-door is that you have to have a home already secured on the other end, and you have to be able to get into that home, have the keys to the home before the moving truck gets there, and you actually have to be there before the moving truck gets there as well for a door-to-door to really happen. Now, to keep in mind for exactly delivery, you have a door-to-door, something happens, maybe it doesn't become a door-to-door. It all goes by the RDD, the required delivery date that's listed in DPS as to when they have to deliver by. For some reason, that truck gets there before you. Some reason you get there before the truck, for whatever number of things that can happen. They just have to deliver by that RDD, and then you can file an inconvenience claim. But if any issues during your move process at all, during the delivery process, you always address it first with your move coordinator, who is your assigned move manager person from your assigned TSP. You always call them first because a lot of times it's something easy that they can call whoever and get it fixed. If you cannot get a hold of them, you can call your local transportation office, and then you can always call the Transcom hotline.
Gotcha. And last question before we move on. I think that we have, Monica, shout out, man, you're on fire. Okay. Can you speak about Transcom Changes? Is it true that Transcom plans to contract out management and administration military moves to a private company? I think she might be referring to that GHC.
Yes. So this is what's being called the GHC, the Global Household Goods Contract. Transcom is moving forward with the plan to do this. So if we remember kind of everything going on, it was awarded last year to a company, and then they have some
protest.
Thank you. I was going to say I couldn't think of the word. All I knew it started with a P. So there were some protests with the contract being awarded. And then there is a GAO report that kind of looked into it a little more. They pulled it back and they are re-looking the process a little bit, but they do plan to re-award that contract out. So basically what it means is that there'll be one company that kind of handles contracting out our moves and managing the process. And now there is a lot of regulation that's in place from Transcom and from the DoD as to how this is going to happen, what needs to be done. Essentially, our process of how we move isn't really going to change that much. Ideally, customer service should get better, and ideally, it should be less hassle as to who do we call when something happens. But as that process rolls forward, with each step of the way that something happens, we'll be, again, back here letting you guys know what's going on. And we do plan to have Transcom on at a later date to kind of discuss more of the government side of the GHC process. And then whenever this contract does get awarded, whoever that company is, we are also going to invite them to come on and, share with us, their plan, their process, and, what that transition phase is going to look like for everybody.
Absolutely. And I'm just really quick, Bill, shout out, Bill. The way that you're describing this seems as if all items arrive broken or damaged. Is this a big problem? So yes and no. And I'll address this question because yes, it is, which is why we're talking about it. Yes, it is, which is why Megan has dedicated a very large portion of her time, effort, experience, and knowledge to being a PCS reform advocate on behalf of military families. It happens enough to where a lot of military families have to go through a heck of a lot that they really just don't have to. And sometimes it's like miscommunication. A lot of times it is, one hand changing the other. And we are just advocating for other military families and telling them what they can do in the event that this happens to them. And to address your second question, I think that actually Megan would be able to do this better. Will we need a formal appraisal of our furniture to receive reimbursement for damages?
It depends on what your furniture is. So if it's an antique, something that you can't just go to Ashley Furniture to pick up, I would suggest having an appraisal done. I've got some antique items. You can kind of see my grandmother's hutch back here in the corner. I have an appraisal on that. So anything that's antique, I would suggest having an appraisal on. Anything else that you can easily still get, you don't really need to have an appraisal on. The liability is that it's full replacement value or repair costs. So you kind of have that leeway if it's something that does break, but it means a lot to you and it can be repaired. They can repair it for you. But no, you don't need an appraisal on everything. I just have appraisals on our antique things.
Awesome. Okay. All right, man, good questions. These are just, I love this. New year, new engagement, what? Okay, let's take it back to current regulations and what we do, now with COVID. Right now, movers are required to wear masks during the move process. Is that in any way changing?
No. So as we all kind of remember, when this whole COVID thing kind of kicked off and started, that they came out with some force protection guidance for moving company crew members that are in our homes to wear masks and to kind of, wash their hands, sanitize any heavily touched areas. That is not going away. That is also in the tender of service that will take effect May 15th. And it says that it's required movers to comply with DoD safety measures and CDC guidance associated with COVID-19, including personal protective equipment and health protocol documentation. So that means they should still be wearing their mask. And there is a form, and we'll drop a copy of that form in the comments below that they should be providing you when they show up at your home that says, like they wear screen, like they don't have a fever, they don't have symptoms type of deal. Before coming into your home to perform any work. So it's, as we have mentioned before and debated about it in the groups, it is a force protection guidance right now, and it's going to be a regulation requirement. And so it's something that we kind of as a whole, as a community, kind of need to enforce. This is, and I know there's a lot of feelings about masks and everything, and I totally, we understand that, we get that, but this isn't a pick and choose which regulations you want to enforce kind of deal. And so if we have one family that says, oh no, don't wear your mask, like it's fine, whatever, and that crew shows up at another house and that family tries to then, enforce the regulations, they get a lot of pushback. So it's one of those things we all kind of need to work together for all of the regulations and make sure that all the regulations are being enforced and utilized at all times.
Okay. And really quick, Kelly, is depreciated value no longer acceptable?
From the TSP, no, because the tender of service, the claims liability business rules say full replacement value and repair costs. The only time that gets depreciated is that when you transfer your claim to the MCO, you're paid a depreciated value up front, and then the MCO goes after the TSP for full replacement value, and then anything that the MCO gets paid for that's above what they already paid you, they cut you a second check for that additional amount.
Got you. Okay. And that's great for military families?
Yes. Yeah.
Fantastical. But now, is that one of the things that's going to be in effect as of May 15th, or is that now?
That's now.
Oh, that's right now. That's right now, people. Write it down. That's right now. Okay. All right, last question. So back on November 1st, there was a joint travel regulation update, right, to that whole regulation, to the TLE language. Can you kind of tell us a little more about that and what that means for those of us who are PCSing, especially when it comes to using Airbnbs?
Yeah, so I'm really excited about this. So before, there's always been a debate. Are Airbnbs covered when we PCS? Now, if it's during your travel days, yes, because you're paid a flat amount per diem that covers your gas, food, lodging. You didn't have to save receipts for that. Now, if it was for, your TLE, the 10 days combined on either side of your PCS, there was always debate on whether they were covered, whether they could be covered. It was kind of location dependent as to whether your office would approve it or not. And so we had always said, call beforehand before you book it, because it may not be. The new language that's provided in the JTR, the Joint Travel Regulation, Chapter 5, states, that it can be reimbursed for private lodging, which includes Airbnbs. Now, a couple of things to keep in mind is that if you are at a location that has government lodging, you need to check there first to see if government lodging is available. If it is, and you don't use it, then you're only going to be reimbursed up to the government rate per day. If government lodging is available at your location, but they don't have any rooms available for you, you need a statement of non-availability from them as well to turn in with your itemized receipt to be able to be reimbursed the actual amount that you spent.
Okay, that makes sense. And just for the record, everyone, I want to kind of just impress upon you. Obviously we know we've all probably laid our eyes on some, Department of Defense instruction or regulations, service or DoD wide. And we all know the language. We all know that it's difficult to dissect, but Megan takes the opportunity every chance she gets and knows it front to back because she dissects it on the regular, which is why she's able to update us the way she does. So kudos to you, Megan. So we do have a couple of questions on the back end. Kelly, shout out again. How much lead time to get crates for the CONUS moves?
Crates should be requested when you set up your move, and then when your transportation service provider is assigned to you, you need to, double check request again with them. As far as crates go with CONUS moves, so if you have 10,000 pounds or less, you're going more than 800 miles, and you're not doing a door-to-door, you should easily be able to get crates without issue. Now, if you don't meet that criteria and you still want crates, you can still request them. Just be prepared that you may be responsible for what they call an excess charge, because what it costs the government to be able to provide that service for you, normally that they want it, your stuff would go onto a truck type of deal. But if you wanted the crates, you may be responsible for some pay in there. But if you want to find out what it is ahead of time, your local transportation office should be able to sit down and figure it out to give you what that estimated cost should be.
Okay. And Monica on fire. I'm serious. Can I retrieve my car if I've already dropped off my vehicle, but my PCS now has a delay?
You should be able to. call the vehicle processing center, the VPC that you dropped it off at, to make sure that they didn't already go ahead and ship your car off. Because that is a possibility, could happen, but you should be able to retrieve your car and then make an appointment to re-drop it off, but you would need to call that VPC to verify that your car is still there.
Gotcha. Okay. Awesome. Man, I'm just telling everybody this engagement, these questions, these are fantastic. These are fantastic because not only are we helping other military families by, putting Peg in front and center, spitting out that policy and that Transcom jargon, we're hearing the questions from you and getting more answers. So when somebody watches this replay, the question that you ask is probably something that's been on their mind too. So kudos to you for contributing to the advocacy of military families, honestly. And all right, so I'm actually going to go ahead and get to this wheel of names. For those of you who have additional questions or anybody catching this on the replay, we will definitely get back in touch with you and answer the questions that you need and let you know if we have if we need to take that question for action. So without further ado, my back end lovely lady, Stacy, is going to send me the list of names for the wheel of names so we can choose our winner of the Hope Design Limited Bling. Let me see. So while she's doing that, while she's sending me that list, Krista did have a saved round. Do all rules apply for final moves when retiring or separating?
Yeah, so all of the rules from the DTR will still apply, everything that we talked about today. The only things that change for a separation or a retiring move is some of the entitlements. For like separating, you don't get the DLA entitlement. There's a distance restriction depending on if it's separating or retiring. There's sometimes a distance restriction. Usually they will move you back to your home of record or equal distance of that mileage. So there are some little changes in there with that. But as far as like seals on crates, protecting your floors and things like that, the claims timeline and all that stuff, that's all the same.
Gotcha. Okay. Is everybody ready for the wheel of names? All right, let me share my screen here. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun. I don't know why I'm singing Do the Hustle. I just want to dance. I just want to go out dancing. I miss dancing.
2021, we're in a new year and we have big hopes for exciting things.
Yes, we do. Yeah. All the hopes. All right, folks, let's get a drum roll, please. Oh, Melanie, yes, yes. Congratulations, Melanie. And Melanie, since you have an upcoming PCS happening here shortly, this is definitely going to make your day. And here's why, because this necklace, again, made by Hope Design Limited, says this too shall PCS. So definitely needed, right? Okay. Melanie, if you could go ahead and hit up our Facebook page and Messenger so that we can get your address and email address, that would be fantastical. And so just going to go ahead and throw this out there. Next week we have, you know what? We went through the whole calendar, y'all. We've got talking to, realtors about, buying and selling without seeing your house. We're going to be talking to employment experts when you PCS. We're going to be talking to how to keep faith during your after a PCS. It's really hard to find our church community for those of us who try to. And we've got a chaplain and a subject matter expert, milspouse, to help us figure that out. Because actually, it's kind of a huge problem to try and find that community when you move from one place to another. Go figure, we need more difficulties. We've got so much planned for everyone, and we're actually going to be inviting some milspouse entrepreneurs in the future to come on and also do the wheel of names with their stuff. And we're just going to have a fantastic year because I have so much faith. I do have cautious optimism. I'm not dumb, but I have so much faith that 2021 is going to be so awesome. And so without further ado, until next week, Megan.
This too shall PCS.
Bye, folks.